I just interviewed Bun B, and he was talking about their biggest song, International Players Anthem, which you guys produced. Was that you or
Yeah.
just, it was you?
Yeah.
What I didn't know until my interview with him was that
Pimp would actually call me on the phone, tell me about different records that he was listening to in the library. That's where he got the idea, actually, while in prison for doing Players Anthem, was by listening to the Project Pat album and saying, man, Pat got a hit on that motherfucker, man. Is it? He was curious as to how big it was in the streets. And I'm like, well, people fuck with Project Pat, but that single didn't really blow. He's like, nah, man, that's a fucking hit record. So when he came home, he called Paul and them and was like, man, we want to remake that record. And Paul was like, dog, we got thousands of beats. We can make you a fresh beat. He said, no, that beat is a hit. I just need those reels. I need that beat.
Yeah, Choose You.
Choose You.
Yeah.
So you produced a song for Project Pat, and it came out, and I guess it was buzzing locally, but it didn't really.
Yeah, it was buzzing like Memphis, Atlanta on the radio, this and that, but Sony didn't get behind it. I think they was going through a transition right there with new people, new A&Rs or whatever.
Okay.
So they didn't really get behind it, and I think Pat might have been locked up at that time, because I know he was locked up on doing 2 albums at some point. So yeah, it didn't really get no promotion. So Pimp C called me, and he was like, he called me from prison. And he was like, Paul, when I get out, I want that beat. He like, don't do nothing to it. Keep it just like it is. I want that beat. And when he came out, he came to our house in LA, and we did it.
Yeah, because I guess the way Bun B described it, you were like, man, I got 1,000 beats. Like, why do you want this beat that we've already used?
Yeah.
And he was just adamant about it. Like, no,
Yeah.
I want this beat that's already been out.
Man, thank God he did that. Thank God he did that. Because that beat was hard, man. Sony, they didn't get behind that record. But you know what? It wasn't for them to get behind that record. It was for it to happen just like it happened.
Right. And I guess Big Boy had rapped over the drum beat by himself, I guess.
I don't know how that...
Big Boy and Andre both got the snippets separately. So Big Boy was like, I love it. Can I just rap to the drums? I love the drums. I want to freak the drums out and just rap over the drums. So when you hear him come in on Players Anthem, it's originally just him rapping over the drums.
You don't remember that part, though?
Yeah, the music mute out.
Yeah, it mutes out. It's just the drum beat with the hi-hats.
Yeah,
I guess he was already fucking around with it. Do you remember how Outkast got on that song?
Well, I remember why they got on the song. They got on the song because, from what I remember, is because Sony didn't want to clear us.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they put them on the song. We on the album version, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I remember us being on the album version, and Sony didn't want to clear us for the single, which at that time I thought was dumb and fucked up. But at the same time, when they said it was replacing us for Outkast, I was like, fuck yeah. Because I'm going to get paid off the song regardless. I was like, hell, that's a way better look.
I mean, it's Outkast.
That's Outkast. If they had asked us, they'd have been like, Paul, look, I know it's your beat. Do you want to be on it or do you want Outkast to be on it? I'd be like, nigga, Outkast. Because I ain't no dude. Like, I've never been that dude that, like I was just saying earlier, I've never been that dude that want the publicity or want to stay relevant or want this and that. Man, I just like what's going to be best for the record.
Yeah, and that song was, I mean, would you say it's UGK's biggest song? I mean, it was nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, and from what I remember back then, wasn't it their first #1 song? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
I got the plaque at home on my wall. It was their first, from what I remember,
song.
It was their first #1 song and possibly their first platinum album.
Yeah, I mean, I just interviewed Too Short.
I was with Too Short last night.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's the homie.
That's homie.
And he said that if Pimp C were alive today, he'd be the king of clickbait.
Like I still don't know how to dance around it. You know, the whole clickbait thing, how not to say shit that ends up in headlines. It's an art to it that I really haven't perfected, but Pimp C would have never went for it. He would have been the king of clickbait. He would have gave you so many gems.
Memes, anything. Man, he would be the king of so much stuff. It was so funny.
What do you think was the craziest Pimp C story that you can remember?
That he told me personally, or just ones just out in the public?
He told you personally.
The one when he went to jail, when he pulled a gun in the mall or whatever. Because he called me right after it happened.
Oh, really?
Now, yeah, right after it happened. I was like, what happened, Pimp? And he's like, she drew down on me, so I drew down on her. So I guess they put guns on each other in the mall, like old Western style. I should have been like, motherfucker, you should have told her take 10 paces and draw.
That's what you said?
No, I didn't say that. But I was just like, damn, what the fuck? Yeah, he was breathing hard. He wasn't breathing hard like he was scared. He was more or less like, man, like, fuck that shit. That shit, fuck it, whatever, fuck.
Well, you know what's kind of interesting about that story was that, you know, after he went through the legal thing with all that, he just got probation. But they had him like scooping horse manure or something like that. And he was like, man, I ain't doing that shit. Like Bun B was telling me the story.
Well, he actually got probation for that because it was a nonviolent situation. But he ended up violating because he didn't want to go to probation. So he went to probation and they sent him to like God, what do you call where they keep horses at? Stables? And they were making him clean horse shit. And he was like, I ain't fuck that shit, Bun B. I ain't going back. I'm not doing that shit no more. But my thing was at the time when he ended up violating, I was like, well, now you got to go to prison and smell shit anyway.
Wow.
He had a community service that he just did not want to do.
He a dude of his word. If he say he ain't gonna do it, he's serious.
Yeah, I mean, Bun actually said the story about how he would have a picture of Tupac, like I guess in the studio.
Tupac was already dead at that time, right? So Pimp used to, in 2000, Tupac was dead. Pimp used to have a picture on his wall of Tupac. And whenever you would ask him something that required deep thought, he would look at the picture. And it would be like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm asking Pac what he think. He was very, very aligned in with the personality of Tupac, not really the musician, but the character of Tupac, the personality and how he carried himself as a man in the world and in the culture. And if it was something that Pimp thought that Tupac wouldn't do, Pimp wouldn't do it.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
That's why he said, like Bun said that because he didn't want to do Big Pimpin'.
I heard about that.
He didn't want to do Big Pimpin' because I guess Tupac told him not to do Big Pimpin'.
Oh, God.
And he finally, I guess Bun talked him into it, but he only did like 8 bars. Because if like he's got a short, and he didn't show up to the, he only did 8 bars. And then he didn't show up to the music video. Too Short told me this story about how he didn't show up to the music video because he didn't want to do the video. So they just drove to Miami for like 9 hours from like Atlanta. Too Short like convinced him to just go to Miami to shoot something.
I personally delivered Pimp C to the video shoot. Like if you look at the video shoot, there's a lot of scenes in the video where they're at this carnival. I think they were in Trinidad or something. Yeah. Pimp C didn't make it to the airport or whatever the fuck. He didn't go. Bun B is in that part. And then there's another shoot that's at this house.
Wasn't Pimp C, he was like with a Mercedes? And like,
yeah, he had just got the car.
Gloria Velez or something? Or someone that looked like her?
They put him in the scene, him and Gloria standing by the car. Yeah. But we were in Atlanta, and this big budget video is going down, and he's not there. So he was proud of his new Mercedes, and I had just bought like this little Porsche, and I'm like, bro, let's just drive down to Miami. You got it, like the song had already been done. It was already moving around hot, and I'm like, you got to do this, man. You got to do this. Like literally. So I got him on the highway and we did like a little road trip. It's a nice little ride from nice little 9 hours or something. I don't know how far from Atlanta to Miami. And we jumped on the highway and we drove down and he shot the video. We hung out for about 2 weeks out there and that was one of the best, that might be the best time we ever had.
Basically, Big Pimpin' was the one time in life that he saw Pimp C compromise.
Oh, wow.
He said that was the one time. He said he only did it because Bun really wanted to be on that song.
Yeah. That was a good, if you're going to compromise something, that was the one.
Yeah. Well, because, and I think I've said this before, like, Sippin' on Some Scissor is my favorite UGK and 3 6 Mafia song.
That's a good one. There you go.
I might have to say that's the greatest Southern hip hop song ever.
It's a good one. It's a good
You
one.
see what I'm saying? It's hard to argue that fact right now when I say it out loud like that. The greatest, just, because that song still bumps today.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
That sounds
Everyone
hard.
went off on it. The beat was crazy.
Yeah.
The subject matter was distinctly down south. Like, yeah, man, that was a huge song for all of y'all.
Yeah, that song was big. That was the shit. Had a blast shooting that video too.
Yeah.
Miami.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was dope video, everything.